And welcome to another Mark Bishop Show. New study out from the Afterschool Alliance shows parents recognize after-school programs support wellness, mental health among children and youth. And by gee, do we need that today. My special guests concerning this are Jodi Grant, who's the Executive Director, Afterschool Alliance, and Jennifer Sirangelo, who is President and CEO of the National 4-H Council. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Okay, so in December, the U.S. Surgeon General issued about the health, or the mental health of America's youth, right? Noting that rates of anxiety, depression, and sadness were pretty high and before the pandemic, and that COVID-19 made them much worse. Indeed, mental health-related emergency room visits by 12 to 17-year-olds increased by 31%. From 2019 to 2020, folks. And, 59% of parents report being more worried about their child's emotional well-being today than they were before the pandemic. So what's the answer? Jodi, Jennifer, tell me.
So I'll jump in first because we just issued a report about all of this, which could not be more timely. And, one of the things is there's been all of this discussion about academic loss for our kids, but if you talk to parents, they are every bit as concerned about the loss of social opportunities. And parents have reported that they look to programs like after-school programs that they trust as a big part of the solutions. That, our report shows that whether it's physical activity, cooking, or some of the programming that really builds a stronger whole child mental health because of teamwork and collaboration, caring adults, opportunities to interact with peers with common interests and feeling like you belong, that all of these things that happen in an after-school program can be a lifeline to our kids right now. At the same time, they're building skills that will help them succeed professionally in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic, the after-school summer programs. You provide academic support. There's hands-on learning opportunities, a natural space for students to explore, to learn and grow, and they're doing more than ever. So what did the Afterschool Alliance's new study, After School Promotes Healthy Features, what did it really find deep down?
So what it found deep down, and something that we've known, and now we know that parents know, is that after-school programs really contribute to the holistic development of their children. And that, programs have always done this, but they're doing even more of it. They're providing more opportunities for physical activity, more of a focus, and Jennifer can talk about this, of really understanding some of the mental health struggles that our kids are facing. And while this is all terrific news, we're not doing enough of it. So 25 million kids, their parents would like them to be in programs, but the programs are either too expensive, they have wait lists, or they don't exist in their communities. So we're really hopeful that, focusing on what our programs do best, which is this whole child positive youth development, we can get more attention so that we can reach more of these kids in the short term and the long term.
Well, Jennifer Sirangelo, what say you?
Sure. Well, I want to just kind of come alongside Jodi, and we did a similar study. Hers was with parents, ours was with teens in June of 2020 around mental health and where kids' heads were. And our research showed that 7 out of 10 teens are struggling with mental health. But kind of more important to me was that 82% of the teens we surveyed, some were 4-Hers, but the majority were not, really wanted us to talk more openly about mental health, more honestly about mental health issues in the country, both in their communities and their families and nationally. So one of the things your question was, what can we do? And really, I have two of those things. First is for anyone who has kids in their life of any age, talk about it. Ask them how they're doing. Ask them and don't take, one answer as the answer. You have to specifically say, how are you doing? Are you feeling anxious? But I encourage you to ask them, let them talk about it. Second thing is we hope you'll get them into some kind of an after-school positive youth development program. In 4-H, we are in every county and zip code through the Cooperative Extension 4-H program. So parents can find us anywhere. And our programs through 4-H clubs, 4-H after-school programs, 4-H camps help young people with experiential learning, like you mentioned, really develop those critical life skills that give them the tools they need today to navigate all their challenges, but also what they're going to need for the future. So by helping them develop purpose, have independence, have a voice in their programs, provide leadership, give back to their community, those kinds of activities in 4-H really are in the research shown to be beneficial for them building resilience, building connections, building the competencies that really help them withstand the inevitable challenges in society, in their community, in their world.
Yeah. And there's plenty of those right now, everywhere we look, right? 360 degrees, it's unbelievable. So these after-school programs, not only are they important, at this time for children and youth, I read in the survey 30,000 U.S. families participated in this, and the parents' top concern is that their children have been missing out on social connections and friendships. Every human being needs that. So how do after-school and the summer programs, how do they help the students who are anxious, the ones that are isolated or depressed? How do you attack those to help them get better? Well,
what I've seen happen in 4-H, and I'll use a 4-H kind of camp example. This is actually a very more common than you think in 4-H in programs and youth development programs, but it really centers on the interaction between a caring adult and the young person and the other young people in the group. So it's never just an adult and the youth, it's an adult with a young person in a group. So we start with the basics, which is belonging. So that adult will create the setting and all the institution around it, the activities and everything will create an environment where every young person belongs. So everyone belongs, everyone has a role. It's okay to be who you are. And that safety, that physical safety and emotional safety is the foundation of helping them grow out of that isolation. Then you move into giving them the ability to have independence and think and choose what they want to do or participate in. So whether it's the activities at camp, whether it's the project they do in their 4-H club, that agency, that independence takes the next step after they feel safe and they belong. Right. Then we encourage them to give back. That's the generosity. So once they can do that, they build more confidence by giving to others. And then the final step is mastery. So if they're good at photography or swimming, can they teach others? As they become a teenager, how can they teach others and help them? That builds their confidence. And I've heard young people say, 4-H told me I was a leader, so I became a leader.
God,
so
I love them.
Exciting to see.
Yeah, isn't that terrific? That's Jennifer Sirangelo, folks, President and CEO of the National 4-H Council. Now, we've got a minute left in closing. Jodi, I'd like to ask you, why aren't more students participating in these after-school programs?
So the answer is because we don't have enough available. So what we need to be doing, particularly for the kids who can't afford them, is finding ways through public funding, philanthropic funding to make these programs available. And right now, federal COVID dollars can be used to support programs. So I encourage listeners all across your region to talk to their school boards and encourage the school boards who have federal COVID dollars to use them to create or expand high quality after school summer learning programs. And this money, they can use it to fund community-based organizations directly. So to go to a 4-H or a Boys and Girls Club or a Y and ask them to expand programming to reach more kids with these dollars.
Well, I hope we help you get the message out. The Mark Bishop Show does go national, of course, with a global reach. So it's not just our region. Hopefully somebody will do a little more. The website, that's important for people to study, right, initially. Can you give us that?
So www.afterschoolalliance.org.
And 4-H.org is the 4-H website where you can go put in your zip code and find the 4-H club or camp in your community.
Fabulous. You do a wonderful job year in, year out, Jodi Grant is the Executive Director of Afterschool Alliance. and her buddy Jennifer Sirangelo, who's the president and CEO of the National 4-H Council. Thank you, ladies. Really appreciate what you're doing for the youth of this country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.